having international protection will make sure that that large nation don't infringe upon the rights of our smaller nation. At least it should, in theory, in principle. You know what I'm saying? So that way we can make sure when we may get some allies and shit. You never know how that could go. You know what I mean? But I definitely agree that we definitely need to figure out that portion of it.
Did y'all see that video of them Hawaiians? I don't remember if it was exactly Hawaii, but they was in a courtroom and they started doing they chant and they all
Hmm.
rallied together. That's the type of
Hmm.
spirit that we got to come back as the Aborigines or just the natural people of the land. We need that type of culture, with melanated people because they're way. What do you think about the Hawaiians actually, Heavy? You being, the scholar that you are, what do you think about those people?
Yeah, from Hawaiians, what people are calling Hawaiians, but from that group, from all the people of the Polynesians, Samoans and Tongans, like they have a warrior spirit, and ultimately, it's a thriving culture, and I love the way they hold on to their culture. I'm in Seattle, so you have a lot of Polynesians and Africans and motherfucking all different types, but Asians is like one of the majority populations here, all the way in all parts of Asia, from India all the way to like Polynesia. So and the cultures are rich, and you can see how they still hold on to their culture. You know, I separate politics from culture.
Mhm.
Sometimes politics can begin to sway culture, but there's still an inherent culture of the people, you know, and sometimes politics don't reflect that because politics deals with the majority. It doesn't deal with the disenfranchised. That's not its goal. So, we come from a majority rule type of place mentality. And so for me, like, certain things are inevitable. As technology increases, there's going to be people that want to control other people, and they're going to be just as savvy about it in their endeavors. So as more technology increases, men will come up with more ways to subjugate a man.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what power is. True power is being able to subjugate another man. Now, if and then not only do I
No, that's
subjugate,
not what true power. That's what
no,
they made power to
no,
be.
this is what I'm saying, right? We know what real power is, but I'm saying this is what's been done. So the mentality is, how does it feel to take down one man? How does it feel to take down his family? How does it feel to take down his neighborhood? Now, how does it feel to take down his entire people and subjugate them? That's a feeling of power.
Yeah.
Though you were stronger, though you possessed whatever, I outwitted you. I not only outwitted you, I subjugated you through dominance.
By my-
And
by but by exploiting the assumed weakness of your strengths, if that makes
right,
sense.
no, it
You know
does.
what I'm saying?
And so brothers don't look at it from that perspective. They don't see what this is. So as power increases and more ways to create these technologies to subjugate a man is going on. Now you still have brothers who haven't even identified what the real problem is, like that. So when you're talking, guns or weaponry, you got to get beyond that. You got to get to a
We got to
level.
get into spirituality. Like that's why I said thought that chanting was
Nah,
so
nah,
powerful. No, listen,
No,
listen what I'm saying though. The chanting was so powerful because it's like DARPA. I know y'all heard of DARPA, right? Because y'all into like aliens and shit.
that's
DARPA,
technology,
bro,
though.
the
we
type
talking
of
about
shit
y'all
they
Technology.
into
have in
aliens and
DARPA,
shit.
we
So
can't fight that shit. There's no way we can fight against DARPA. We have to have some type of spiritual system to lean on, or else we won't win the war if we try to do it strictly physical. They got too much money, too much technology, too many scientists. There's no way we can win that war physically, guns blazing. We would have to have a prayer system or a spiritual system.
No, that's just basically saying, hope that God figure it out
Not even
and
that.
give us
Not even
the
that.
faith.
When I
Then
say
what is it?
spiritual system, go ahead. when I say spiritual system, I'm more so speaking on practices like culture. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to have a schooling where we're raised up. It's a reason why all those people in those courtroom that didn't even know each other joined in that chant. It was a spirit, almost like we get in the Christian church when you see people jump up and start praise dancing and catch the Holy Spirit. That's a real thing. That's a mechanism, but we need to teach that, and instead, almost like the Chinese do, where they all grow up and they're in temples, they're doing karate. These are low key
That's a
African
stereotype.
and you feel me, traditional native and aboriginal practices. So we need to just get back into those type of systems. Now we're militant. You
But
feel
see,
me?
that's the problem. That's why we won't win. That's
Why
why
not?
we'll stay in bondage.
That they
I'm
tell you
a,
this,
I'm a,
like, go ahead, bro.
I get the whole spiritual side. Trust me. Nobody talks about that as much as I do, right? But at the end of the day, these things are still being built. They're still being created. And you're just so once again, you're just waiting for something spiritual to happen that's gonna shift that.
Well, no, that's not what I mean. That's what a lot of spiritual people, or especially Christians, want to do. They just pray and just wait for
He's
God to make
saying
the
use
change.
magic, is what he's saying.
No, no, no. What I'm saying is more so we have to start somewhere. So we have to start inside. So we can't just be like, hey, everybody get a gun. We can, but I feel like
No,
we
we
more
don't
so need to
disagree
teach
with
them how to
No, it's not
shoot.
about
We need to
no,
teach
we
them
it
how
don't
to
don't.
disagree
fight.
with
We
that at
need
all. I don't disagree. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that, Crystallized. I think again, like, look, listen, like for me, as a community leader, as a leader amongst men that lead children, in my own family. You know what I'm saying? I think about generations down the line. I'm
hmm
not just thinking about right now. I'm thinking about For me, I'm thinking about total liberation of our people. That's been my mind. All of my leaders and the people and the men and women that I look up to, that's what they taught. They said, is the time in which we will be able to liberate ourselves and govern ourselves. You understand? And many of them had disagreements on how we could go about doing that. But the
That's
reality
why
of it
we're
is
not
that,
gonna make it.
say what, bro?
That's why we're not gonna make it.
Wow, why we ain't go?
You see what you're trying to do? You're
What
trying to
what
get.
what
You're talking this. I got to get all my people. Do you know some of
what the
your
goal can be
people
big.
don't
The,
need to
the
go?
goal, listen, the goal can be very big. The understanding of how that carry out, it doesn't change the goal. The things that you have to do to accomplish that, that's the weeding out of certain niggas. That's all that you mentioned earlier. All that's a part of the goal for my people. You know what I'm saying? This isn't even when the slaves was took it from one ship and they embarked on that journey. All of them slaves didn't make it to the disembarkation point. You understand? There were many of them that died, many of them that jumped over, many of them that all types of shit. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? So that's a part of the journey and this process. We are aware and totally conscientious of that. You understand what I'm saying? There's gonna be casualties in this bitch, if I can say so, just explicitly,
See
right?
that's
But
okay. My bad. Not to interject, but that's what. Just real quick. That's why I mean the spiritual system, because when you look at the Israelites and the motherfuckers across the water, they ready to die. They'll strap a bomb to themselves and blow themselves up because they understand God
hey, don't use
higher
them
than we
words
do.
together like that. Don't use the words together like that.
You know, but I guess
Listen,
what I'm saying is be willing to die, or be willing to
Now,
risk
don't
your
stop using
flesh.
them languages because
I got
they're
you
gonna strike the
Oh yeah, I
page.
feel you.
crystallized.
I
They're
feel you.
gonna
I feel
strike
you.
the page.
You see what I'm saying
Okay,
though? You feel what
I
I'm
got
saying?
you crystallized. But them Israelites that I see around here, if something gets to popping, like click, 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 they up out of here. They're not convicted as, them jihad brothers and them brothers over there that are devout to what they believe in
They
and would
serious
gladly
though.
give
We
their
got to
life.
get serious about the shit because we the
Okay,
ones
so
getting locked up
Have
by the
y'all
millions and trillions.
have any of you brothers ever led a men's group or meeting like and done
yes,
it
Yeah,
continuously?
yeah.
uh, continuously
I
only
mean,
to a
I'm just
certain
saying,
point.
right?
Yeah,
Maybe once. I'm just saying, just once. Okay, let's just say once, right? Just at least once, right? How was that? How was that experience for y'all?
it was overwhelming, but then once the work was being done, you have to realize that speaking for me is a great responsibility because once you're leading people, you have to show the tenets of leadership. That means you can't, your movements are now more scrutinized, and you have to
Absolutely.
actually cut the fat off of the things that you used to do because now you're promoted to a position where eyes are watching you and they're depending on you to make the right decisions and and move the right way for the collective because it's no longer about yourself. For men to follow you, for men to enlist with you where they're willing to give themselves and leave this and be deleted for you. Let's not go to the extreme. Your word and your actions have to be sound and move in unity. And you actually have to show them through example, like, I am leading you, but I'm leading you to something more progressive that can help you as a man become better. You
So
also
like, so
have
like, so
next,
like, like in that meeting, right? You sit down, y'all had an objective. For the most part, y'all had a plan and what you all was going to go in that meeting to do, right? And
right?
usually after that meeting, it's supposed to have a clear objective for the next meeting, right? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And tasks that to be done before the next meeting. You understand what I'm saying? But when you leave out those, at least for me, I feel I feel like, damn, we could do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was a moment, so every meeting ain't gonna be peachy, right? You're gonna have, especially if it's something, some things that you got to, there's gonna be spaces of disagreements. But having a protocol in place on how we handle those disagreements, you understand what I'm saying, and making sure that we base and moving on this high morale and so on and so forth. But I'm talking about that shit feel good. You know what I'm saying? Because
It
now you
do.
can see that not only have your leadership is being felt and seen, you know what I'm saying, but now others is being able to exemplify those same traits. You know what I'm saying? So now it's evolving their own leadership skills, right? And ultimately we go around and we doing things. You know what I mean? I could just use my most recent example. When we did the back to school, very large back to school event. You know what I'm saying? And we got everything together from different partners who's going to donate us the book bags. We got different services that's going to come together to bring food and get all this shit. We get a DJ to come and do all of these things. We go and get the petting zoo and the foaming booth, and we go and get all of these different things. Get the aldermen to come out and so on and so forth, and we are able to go and make a change. And we got hundreds of families just coming to getting book bags and you know what I'm saying, and signing their children up for programs and things of that nature. And you could just see just how important the organization is for the community itself. You know what I'm saying? And that be the portion of it that I feel like, we need to just really harp on. All the other stuff is gonna come as a result of. But if we know how to organize as men and sit down and do the things that we need to do, all of this shit gonna get dealt with. I don't give a fuck what it is.
Gotcha.
That's real. That's why I speak on culture though, because so I played football. A big part of my leadership was I was always team leader. I played defensive end and linebacker, so I was always team captain and shit. So it's like at to a certain point we got to realize, okay, now we're just giving each other concussions, and we spending all this time in film, watching film, especially on a collegiate or NFL level. We spending hours and hours watching film. We spending hours and hours watching and plotting on our brethren, and it's fun. It's a team sport. It go back to the gladiator shit. Okay, how can we take some of that energy and some of that brain power and some of that willpower and turn it into something that's actually going to push the needle in our direction? Versus just feeding these big ass white corporations that's profiting off of concussions and brain algorithms and bad kneecaps for all of our black men around the world. Because
But you know
it's
what I
more that
never
we can
hear,
do.
and right, what I never hear in our community is this: we have to learn to practice diplomacy with one another.
Hmm.
The same way I would go and propose my idea to that corporate company is the same level of respect I should present to my brother when I go and show him or tell him the plan.
Yeah,
You see, levels of diplomacy, the way we come and just proper manners. You know what I mean? Like the way I would come to my brother. No, there's no oppression that's causing me to not do that.
it's
There's
culture
nothing
though too.
preventing me from. There's nothing. There's no amount of oppression that they've done that can prevent me from saying, "Peace, my brother." and treating my brother with respect,
That's
right?
class though.
So say it again.
That's class though. That's something that you were taught because you was brought up in a certain level or a certain type of household that allows you to exude that type of, you know what I'm saying, self
No,
But
no, no.
but
respect.
See,
but
I had
guess
to
what?
like Wise can attest to this. You got it, Wise. Yeah, like Wise can attest to this too. We come from neighborhoods where practicing diplomacy is almost mandatory.
Hmm.
It's mandatory because trust me, you don't want to be seen or looked at in a particular way. So the ability to communicate in a certain fashion should be granted to all of our brothers. You see, it should just be a given, you know, but also accountability as well, you know.
Yeah,
And I'm
but
glad you just
everybody
said
don't
that
have that.
part right there because what you learn, what I've learned, right, is that a lot of times the stigmas that we have don't necessarily really be the realities when you boots on the ground, right? We'll say, oh, a lot of niggas do you know in every neighborhood this they got the crime that's going on. The niggas that's doing the crime is the minority in those neighborhoods. You understand what I'm saying? It seems like they're the majority because how impactful and often they committing these atrocities, but they committing these atrocities amongst themselves. There's a small group of people that's doing those things. You understand what I'm saying? So that means that the vast majority of the general populations is people who going to work and trying to make a way and you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. So why is that important? Because when you go and practice that diplomacy, you'll find out that you go say, "What's up? Peace and love, my brother. How you doing?" 9 times out of 10, that brother's gonna greet you back with that same level of respect. Some of the thuggers are most thuggish nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Because he understands respect. He understands as wild as he is. You understand? And these are certain things that I have learned. So I don't disagree with you, Crystallize. I think that there's a spiritual component that's going on here. There's a organizing component that's going on here. And being able to bring all of these things together, is going to be key to our people being able to properly address a lot of these issues and concerns that we have, currently. But you know, again, these types of conversations is only exclusive for those who are able to go and actually do these things. You know what I'm saying? This is just not just conversations. It's like, what can you actually do? How can you and will you and have you already done these things? You know what I'm saying? To me, that's a testament of a man who's really practicing his leadership for real.
Yeah, I guess
It's a fact that
that's why I speak on culture too. Though we have to develop that culture some way. So your household might be whatever your scholarship is. My dad was my sensei since I was 3. I'm a black belt in karate and bunjudo. So we did martial arts and spar. All my best friends come over. We would fight. We would spar. So I learned how to respect a man, early. Me and my dad would wrestle around and fight and stuff. So that was my culture. But I use martial arts because martial arts includes yoga, it includes breath work, it includes spirituality, it includes
Mhm.
respect. You have to come in, you have to respect the sensei. You got to bow your head before you touch the mat. You feel me? It's certain culture. It's a cultural thing. We have to develop a culture, and then that way, people that grow up in that culture will move a certain way, and will stop being disrespected. Because our current culture is rap. In
But
hip
what
hop, it's
now.
happened to
pure at first.
martial?
See,
What what
wait.
happened to
Time
the
out.
culture of martial
Every
arts in
time.
China?
Wait, every time somebody says that, I have to pause them. That's the aspects of our culture that's being magnified. But everybody want. Why does everybody want to be invited to the black barbecue?
That food good.
Because the
You
food
think it's
tastes
no?
good.
It's not
What you
just about the
mean?
food.
The vibe.
It's about the experience.
Yeah.
It's the experience, the level of love that we show. You know, the way that we run our families. The way that we have this resilience and this just rhythm to life that everybody want to catch. You see what I'm saying? It's all of these other things, these intangibles that you're not recognizing. That is black culture. Black
Mm.
culture is not just the thing that it produced. Black culture is the thing that's creating the production. You know, and we constantly as culture shifts and goes to all these different things. We somehow still not just resilient, but we're very creative. We're very creative, and we know how to sense the pulse of the day. You know, there's so much to Black culture that we gotta start acknowledging, because if we don't start acknowledging those aspects of our culture when we're devoid of them, we won't realize that they were ours. You know, and so I'm a big advocate for Black people not spreading that narrative and being able to at least know the things that we've done.
I mean, even if
You
you want to say
know,
hip hop, you got to understand just because it is a aspect of Black culture, but understand just that in its singularity, how influenced that is, how everybody wants to be a part of that and wants to be accepted, and so on and so forth. So we have to, I always share and teach, to my students and even my children, the multifacetedness, if you will, of Black culture. You know what I'm saying? And just how
right.
culturally influential it is amongst other cultures. You know what I'm saying? In order to be able to get the children and be able to see just how valuable it is. So I definitely agree with you on that note.
Yeah, so I need for quote unquote Black people to know some of these inventions that we were responsible for. You know, when you walk outside and realize that somebody like you created that, and that's even big for a child. You know, to know that you were instrumental and pivotal in shifting the direction of society. Now, also, like I said, the complacency of our people. You can't just sit and keep arguing with people saying, please give me this, please give me this. At some point, you got to take certain stuff for yourself, or demand it, just demand it. And a level of respect that we should have for one another should dictate the level of respect that we demand from another people group.
Hmm.
Because
Man,
if,
man,
if,
man,
if
man.
you if you're scared to walk down the street in your own neighborhood, what does that say? You know,
It's saying that
Right.
our neighborhood
Mhm.
needs to be fixed because that's the present day situation. How many black women you know feel safe walking down the street at night within our neighborhoods and they see a black man coming down the same side of the street? How many of them will cross over for safety? In the past, that used
right?
to be an inviting thing because they knew that, okay, I see a brother, I feel protected. We're long from the days where those black women feel protected by
I
us.
honestly, I think we now we at a different level than that. Now there has been a level of see a woman. Okay, if you go into the hood, right, where all of this danger is at, because there are many neighborhoods that danger doesn't exist. You understand? And a black woman or a white woman could literally walk down. Like I live in a neighborhood where right now at night, if I'm walking down the street and a white woman is walking down the same block as me, she will not do nothing but walk past me like a nigga don't even exist. You understand what I'm saying? Because her level of safety and comfort is in a space where there's not no crime. Now watch this. You have a black woman who is in the hood. She's walking down the street at night. She may not feel safe, but I guarantee you
Did he break up on your end?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but
I
probably
I'm,
got
guarantee,
I'm
some
I
good.
signal.
guarantee, I guarantee you, I guarantee you, many of them be 100% comfortable. You know what I'm saying? In those spaces, So we can't keep pushing these narratives as if like black women feels afraid or anything unprotected by black men. Because if you be honest, that's not even they don't need that's not even a conversation that they're pushing right now. Social media create these narratives a lot with these different, caricatures who's coming out. You know what I'm saying? The Kevin Samuels of the world and whoever else, but that's a thing of the past. That's not a reality for real.
Not
You know what I mean?
not everywhere though. That might be part of your reality, but there's some spaces in which a lot of people still scared. Like one of my homies' dads just moved back to Memphis after like 20 years. He got his car robbed the first day. I mean, in certain areas where it's really bad, and we got to start on a global level creating a new culture. Because think about it from the lens of another somebody that's not melanated. The first thing when they think about a melanated person, okay, sports, okay, rap, okay, and I mean it's cool aspects of it, but because of the main narrative of this gangster image, which isn't all the way bad because it makes people respect us.
Nah.
But it's kind of like we need to put
Um,
another mascot up. We need a different mascot other than just that.
Wait. So you saying the black man got a gangster image?
I mean, low key. I mean, there's a lot of examples now, right? So we don't necessarily have to harbor on this topic
That's crazy.
necessarily, because there's a lot of different examples of positive black men in this at this point in reality. We really running the culture of the world right now, but at the same time, I feel like there needs to be, especially, there need to be a more scholarly space. There needs to be a more respectful, disciplined image that comes into the minds of people when they think of what a black man and black woman is. You know what I'm saying? Versus the love and hip hop and the, you know what I'm saying, the gangster rap, the NBA young boys. I love NBA young boy, but there needs to be other type of role
but
models that's popular.
but
Bro,
that's
there's
see the thing.
many roadblocks.
But
That's like, it's,
there are many of those that exist. The problem is, once again, brothers not holding themselves accountable, not to just look at mainstream media and things to look for their culture. If you wanted to find something pertaining to us, you could. If you wanted to find black excellence, you could find black excellence. But you have to desire to look for that. You gotta know what you, once again, know what you're looking for. You can't just say, well, this is the way social media portrays it, and now I gotta have this argument in my head whether or not this is the way black culture is. When I live black culture and I don't see this stuff to this extreme on a daily basis. I don't see it. When you go out in your neighborhoods, you see a brother working at the fucking gas station. You might see a brother working doing construction. You might see a brother with a suit on driving by, going to his corporate office. You might, you see all different types of us, you know? And so you can't just blame that on social media, especially when you say this is what they're designed to do. This is what this is what they're trying to do. So why would I be so upset with them in that thing? And if I
When
got
you
to
say
go out
them,
and
you're
try to
speaking on
find
the
my
man.
culture, if I got to go out and try to find my culture in opposed to expressing myself, the expression of myself is my culture. And the things I have an affinity for and the things I revere, I don't have to go out and look for it. I don't have to go out and really create it. I just have to go out and be able to express me, right? And this is my culture ultimately, you know? Um, and it's not about trying to find something that's lost and then at the same time say we need to create something new. You can't complain about losing culture when you're saying that we should be creating something new. The thing is not to cry over the lost culture, right? But to create the new one.
So are you
So
saying
it's
that's what we should
we
do or what we shouldn't do?
I'm no, I'm just saying brothers got to pick a side and
Okay.
realize what the opposition looks like when it's on that side. It puts on a different face when it's in different, in coming from different angles and perspectives. So if you're gonna choose the side of I want to be sovereign, I want nobody tell me what to do. Well, you got to ask yourself a serious question: am I now becoming a terror to the people because this isn't my land? And then am I trying to take ownership of the land? Am I trying to take possession of the land through legalities? How is that? Show me how that works in any country. It's not. It's just to me. It's not. You got to pick the side and know how to go against what you're fighting against. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing is, do you really want to fight? Do you really want to fight? And how do you choose to fight? You know,
Mhm.
there's a level of fighting that's done at over dinner. you
Yeah.
know, we
I
can
feel like
wrestle
that's
this
where
out
we at
too.
with it. It's more of a civil war, but that's why I said I feel like the best thing we can do is develop a more useful culture. Like other than like, for instance, a lot of people are going plant based. I think all the pork chops and the ham hogs and all that type shit. Culturally, our food needs to change. Culturally, the way we speak to each other needs to change. I think we need to stop giving so much energy to the system of football and kind of move more into something else. Not saying it has to completely be abolished, but there just needs to be something more natural and real and useful in the culture. That's what I think
Sports are
needs to happen.
useful. Sports are very useful in the culture.
I know that's why I said I don't think it needs to be abolished completely, but I feel like there needs to be something different. That shouldn't be the only for me personally. That was my only. I had other. I act and shit. I do a lot of shit, but for most people, that's all they have. That's their only way out of what their current situation is. It's either that or McDonald's, that or
No,
Subway.
that's an old narrative. It's kids online creating their own Bitcoin. What we talk
Mm,
about is
but you
it's
got to
kids with
have money to invest in
clothing
Bitcoin. If you ain't
brand.
got no money,
No,
you
yeah,
can't
but
do
you
shit with Bitcoin.
but understand. But now you have to understand business and how business works. So it's not all spiritual. It can't just be we go off and we align our chakras and we eat vegan
That's not
and
what I believe. My
and,
spirituality
and
at this point is business. We can't afford to just sit and meditate and hum. I preach active meditation, so it needs to be a level of what you're actively doing to bring peace. Because we're not in that space of peace to just be sitting and humming, unless you just need a mental break real quick. But it okay, boom. Business coaching, like business consultants, need to become more popularized in the Aboriginal community or the American Indian community versus football. We need to have more business consultants. Or I want to be a business coach. I want to be a lawyer. You feel me? Like I guess that, or even a new
Crystal,
job.
you got too many Negroes that just want to sit and look up for a handout. If you
do
want to, if you
you
really want to
talk
talk,
to it, Benny. Talk your
yeah,
shit,
you
man.
got, you got too many Negroes that if I tell you, listen, cut back on some of your expenses. Let me show you how to build your financial house. Let me show you, brother. You need three types of savings. You need liquid, 3 to 6 months of savings. Intermediate, house, car. Long term is retirement. Don't put your head where your hands can't reach. Find out what your assets and liabilities are. Stop overspending. Be disciplined for a certain amount of time. Live under your means. Stop trying to live for the Joneses and flash like you need to impress everybody. While you got kids to feed, while you got to keep a roof over your head, while you have dreams and goals deferred. Stop blaming other people and start getting this together. Oh, you talking too much.
But see, that's
I ain't
culture.
picking
It's
up
not
no
cool. It's not cool to do any of all those things you just said. Nobody like no Jay-Z has said that.
What is
No,
what is
nobody
cool?
cool in your average black person eyes has said anything like that. That's not cool because of the
Mm-mm. See,
culture. That's why I speak on the culture has to change a little bit.
you know how many people have spoke. Even Jay-Z spoke on these things. You know, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't I wouldn't say that. It's out there if you're looking for it. You got to first ask the question. You got to ask the questions. This is what leads you to the answers. People are expecting it to just be seen as a majority. Most treasures ain't everywhere. You got to go out and find it. It's the same thing with this understanding and with this knowledge. You know, Complaining about what doesn't exist, um, based off of your understanding, will cause you to not realize that it does exist. You're just not going in the right direction. Your life isn't it's brought you to a point to align you with this, but you're just not going in the pathway. Just simply asking the question, well, why is it that way, and then seeking out the answer. And you'll find that it's people that's represented that, it's people that's already said that, you know it's people that laid out blueprints for that to happen already. So for me, it's not about just culture. But culture plays a big part, but it's understanding that what you're trying to call a people, there's no much more people than the people that they're around, you know, and to not see them as
And that's
people.
that's what's that's what's confusing me because it's like I hear the brother and like I think a lot of the like you said a lot of these talking points definitely was very, very important at one particular point in time, but it wasn't something that it's not something that is really really big right now, because again you have many different black led seminars on business etiquette and business one-on-ones. You have tons of seminars and events. I live in Chicago alone. You know what I'm saying? Like heavy, just a lot of people are not privy to it. And I think what you're ultimately talking about, Crystallize, is what you considering to be the most influential, the things that you see being pushed on the media outlets more so than the other things. But what I'm trying to share with you is that just because you see those things being pushed more doesn't mean that it's the other side is not happening more. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And there's way more black people doing meditations and yogas and holistic things, and into buying land and all of these different and leading groups and seminars and programs and projects and workshops and all type of shit on that. You get what I'm saying? So and it is going on. I think that that narrative that you're referring to, I don't think that that's something that is that's why we have the conscious community. How many events have you seen just so far since this whole conscious community been a thing? Everybody is doing something now. Everybody is entrepreneurs. Now it's about how do we centralize all of that? How do we make a conglomerate, so to speak, where we could be able to bring all of these things together and truly be operating, in a self-sufficient manner. But there's steps to it. It may take a couple of more generations before we get there. But I definitely see the forward motion and the progression. You know what I'm saying? With the organization aspect of it being, the final key to the puzzle for real. Malad, what's up, brother?
What's good,
Wagwan.
bro? What's happening? What going?
There he is.
Yeah, my lord. My lord,
Yeah.
my brethren. Yeah,
I heard
man. I don't even know if you're
got these talking
Jamaican.
points in 1980
Nah,
and
I'm not Jamaican. I'm just joking.
It just sounds like
Come
some
on.
Jamaican shit.
Oh hell no. But yeah, man, this is the kind of conversation I'm always looking to have, but no one's having. I don't
Yeah,
think. I think the problem with a lot of these spiritual conversations is people emphasize too much on like you gotta have the knowledge and you gotta have the knowledge and all, right? Your knowledge is useless without any courage to use it.
that
Like
part.
I've been in that stage, man. Like I was a book smart type individual, but I also was raised in the kind of streets that still shape you, that where you get beat up all the time when you have to stand your ground and whatnot, and push back against certain individuals. So you understand to project your energy in the right fashion around certain people, and certain times you got to be diplomatic. Sometimes you got to be like you see that person coming your way, it's wartime, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think that's what most people are having a hard time kind of figuring out, is playing to their strengths. It's like some people are trying to be warriors when they're supposed to be the scribes. And some people are trying to be scribes when they're supposed to be the warriors. And I don't mean warriors as in throw your body on the battlefield and fucking end your life. No, no, no. I mean like a warrior of a different kind. I mean like I said, like finding based on your skill, like what are you really good at? Like I'm not good at any martial arts or anything like that. If somebody comes at me, sure, I'll try and defend myself and all that. I'm nuts enough to do
But
that.
do you think
But
if you had that healthy practice built into your life, how much? Imagine how much that could help you, right? We
no,
have
no,
so
no,
much
yeah, yeah,
obesity,
a
so
thousand
much high
percent.
blood pressure, so much just health disease in general. If we just started to enact more healthy culture, that would start to create a ripple effect that would start to, you feel me, impact generations to come.
Yeah, I think
But
it's already happening. A lot more people are becoming more conscious about the food they're eating. Like I mean, McDonald's tried to sell you a salad for a little while. Remember that shit? You know what I mean? Like,
I
there's a
didn't even see
reason
that.
people do fight back.
never
Like,
trust that
oh, it's
salad.
always there.
Yeah,
You know?
hell nah. I ain't had
But
McDonald's in like 7 years.
Yeah, good.
but
Like anybody who knows anything about food wouldn't have a McDonald's. Like even though, like your psyche once in a while may crave it, right? Like you might want a little bit of it once in a while, just to remember what it's like to taste a little bit of death. But you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, you got to revert back to the healthier shit.
You know, what I mean, cheese and almonds right now.
Mhm.
Good shit.
but
But yeah,
but what's
I
it
think
called?
social media has
What,
kind of warped the narrative. You know what I mean? And it, even though they call it social media, there's nothing social about it, right? Like what's really social, it promotes people who are antisocial to come and infect the space in a sense, and their ideas become dominant. Those people in real life wouldn't have a chance. You know what I mean? Like without the internet, they wouldn't have a chance of being promoted. You wouldn't have your Kaisenats and your Aiden Rosses. You wouldn't have any DJ academics or any of those dudes, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is that like you when you go out into the world and you interact with different types of people, you see just how much stuff is really going on. And I have explored the entirety of the imagination, but just being able to use my community as a microcosm, as an example to say like, wow, it's a lot of stuff that's really going on that we really don't know, and even looking at this quote unquote social media, you can many different people, like to your point, Malad, doing things for real, but there are a lot of, who are not, you know what I mean? But oh no, I when we start having conversations about what we need to do, there's a and you know, and on that list, each thing has to be done at some particular point of each individual life. But if you are not able to do so, that's there's the limits where you can, you're supposed to be able to hit each milestone, continue to improve, and so on and so forth. And if a community of people are doing that, then you can see the results of that. But that's not happening right now, as we would like to see it, I should say.
I mean, people working backwards, man. People trying to go back to tribalism, which is crazy to me. When it's not about tribalism anymore. You know, if you can't see a person who is not of your culture and looks different than you, if you can't accept their expression of their identity and vice versa, then you're not ready to make any uh, changes that are necessary for the progression of humanity and working together. Because I got brothers that are of different cultures than me, completely different cultures than me. Those my brothers, and they don't look like me. They don't talk like me. We don't dress alike, but that's my brother. So for me, we got to get past this certain point. Once again, like you said, create the new culture. Well, what does that culture entail? Is it strictly for people that are black? Like, what does black even mean? Now we got to get. Now we got to break
Hmm.
down. How are you identifying who's black now?
Yeah.
You know, like we. So it's like, are we just a people that practice a spirituality that understands what man is and what woman is and what humanity is, or are we still trying to practice levels of tribalism that you were defeated in, and it didn't show itself to be a worthy component of what it was facing.
One of my mentors did say, and this is the one I always refer to, Uriel. He says, and he's American Indian. He says we need to get back in the colony. We need to start almost forming colonies again in a
It's
sense
it's the
of micro communities.
is the earth moving backwards?
Not, but don't think about it like that. Think about it like
I
in the
have to
sense
though.
of a community. Don't think about it like we literally finna go get some TPs. Even though I don't think that's a horrible idea in some ways if you play with that idea, but I think it's more so about us just like this right now. You have a panel. You and Wise, you and Heavy and Wise, y'all are on all the time, right? I see y'all as two chiefs in the community, right? And y'all are from two different spaces geographically. Y'all can both spread out, and let's say y'all both had organizations of, let's say, 10 men, 15 women, right? And y'all started to practice and do these type of classes and seminars for men and say, okay, boom, this is what we're doing in the community. I need everybody to donate $50 a week. And now you feel me? And now we're doing this in each city via, now we have the internet. We couldn't, back in the day, we didn't have the internet. We couldn't do this worldwide. Imagine if we had about 10 brothers like us and we all got ten brothers and they got 10 sisters. And now that colony is like a nation. You know what I'm saying? That's how you actually do it. Then we just
Hmm.
would have to create that culture. That's why I said we have to create the culture. And then imagine if we all sat together and we started to do prayers. We started to do affirmations. We started to say, okay, this is what we're attacking this week. And we all as a collective start focusing on this issue. And we just move step by step.
All your people. So you're trying to do a little colony, and all these people are in this the same vicinity type of thing.
Type. I mean, like I said, you can say colony, you can say organization, you can say LLC, you can say trust, you can say S corp, you whatever you however you want to establish it. But we need to
Yeah.
do business like these white folks is doing business or these Europeans is doing business on this land because trust and believe. If we doing masterminds, they're doing big ass masterminds where they're figuring out how can we keep these people dumb, deaf, and blind.
Yeah, but they're people like want to fight the white man using the white man's tools. I really don't understand that shit though. Like
Mhm.
even
That's
even
not a
as
white
somebody
man
who's
tool though.
relatively
That's
adjacent
just
to
community.
yeah, like I get the reasoning behind like, well, they're successful, they got money, but like it's misearned money, right? In a sense, it's misearned power. Like they didn't really earn that shit. It's all manipulative, like semantic game shit, hiding behind legalese and shit, and it's all based on profit motives as opposed to like like making a good product, whatever it is. And sometimes the product isn't food. It's not music itself. It's, you know what I mean? It could be literature, it could be anything. And the product sometimes is people themselves. The product, the culture produces people at the end of the day, right? And like you can make better children by not necessarily like wanting to genetically engineer them or finding the perfect mate necessarily. Like the perfect mate is somebody who has the correct software in their mind. Like the hardware doesn't really matter at that point, you know?
Yeah,
But you have to
yeah,
download that software.
Yeah, but like you actually have to like write the coding for that software, and
Okay.
bits of the code already exist. It's not like these are things that we've learned. I mean, they're in our history, they're in our recent history even. There's great examples of people who should be considered heroes right now, but people are overlooking them. You know what I mean? And those are the people that were
no, it's a
shunned
fact.
not too long ago.
Yeah, it's a fact, and people, like I say, your desire to understand has to be fed with a certain level of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And brothers ain't getting the right knowledge. When you talk about these like 5%ers and mores, you talk about right knowledge, standing on your square. Yeah, some of y'all are doing like Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, you bouncing from square to square. You can't pick a square to stand on. So at the end of the day, once again, the responsibility is yours. You must work out your own salvation. There's nobody to blame for why you didn't do what you should do.
Hmm.
That's the
Yeah, I mean
opposition.
yeah,
Are
the
you
white
yeah,
man fights the other white man too. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they
like and
cut through
so
with each other.
yeah, you're
That's
dealing
how
with you're dealing with
quote unquote they
aspects
win.
of yeah, you're dealing with aspects of human nature.
Mhm.
Hmm.
This is not just one people that does this. It's humans that do this. So if you can't if people can't get to that space, and though we talk about the white man stole, the white man did this, you gotta look at it from another aspect.
Like I
He
could take
created
somebody's
he
like
created his own currency.
mhm.
He could manipulate people to be able to do this or that and
bro,
get whatever set objective they had out done. You know, um
bro, I don't want to
so
hear about the white man from somebody who's fighting with their mama, for example. You know
you
what I
you
mean?
get what
Like
I'm
if you're
saying?
fighting
Like,
with your
come
mama,
on.
stop it, man. Like,
Yeah, like we can't
you guys at least get that shit right, and
yeah,
then let's
figure
move
that
on
out
to the
first.
white
Yeah, like
man.
you gotta figure that out. So for me, it's like it's personal battles. Before you start trying to deal with all this other stuff, you got to deal with the personal battles. Tranquilo. But, but yeah, you got to deal with those. You got to deal with those things. It's just if you can't work out the person, how you got to dictate to the masses. That's all it is, man. A lot of people just don't deal with things that they need to deal with. Conquer the things in their life first, you know, and then you'll see that that seems to bear more importance than trying to get everybody to do what you feel is right or what you deem is right. You know,
That's
I
valid.
don't, and I don't think that every quote unquote brother, you know, is behaving like my brother. So I want to deal with that first before I give the grand scheme of how we gonna do this. You're like, no, the fact that there's no respect is, I'm telling you, it's simple things that people just don't practice, you know, and then wonder why things are in the conditions that they're in. Not just to be so, what's the word, pro pro something. You're just so focused on yourself, you know. You're just too focused.
Anthropocentric.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, I like
anthropocentric.
that.
Yeah, you know, you're really just focused on yourself and made yourself the center of the story. You know, and if you're gonna be the center of the story, then you gotta at least understand the scenery in which you've been placed in and how this narrative's been written. You know, and if you can't affect it in a particular way, then you're not even any good to yourself, let alone
Mm.
other people. So for me, it's just like I don't. I get spirituality. I get that, but I can't. I can't have everybody practicing my spirituality. I can't make everybody see the things like that I see and revere my God. You know, I don't have to do that, but I can get people to revere respect. You know, I can get them to to learn to respect another person's perspective. You know, even if I disagree with it, I can say respect. You know, this is not something that the government's preventing people from. The government doesn't prevent that. Government is not stopping Malak from saying peace, brother. How y'all doing today? Government ain't stopped that. You know, government's not in control of that. So instead of complaining about the things you feel that you don't control, how are you doing with the things that you feel you're in control of? You know, that's to me is just as important. But once again, work out your own salvation. You know, and that salvaging of self comes with the constant revisiting to the fact that you were once damaged. You were once damaged goods, and you
And we
somehow,
we have to be comfortable with the long term process and plan of this.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times the things that we are dealing with right now, we feel the impacts of them right now. You know, so sometimes a lot of the work that we're gonna do, may not, be felt right now. You know, in the way that we may feel some of the down parts of it, but if it's going to be in maintained, and it's going to be, you know one family turning 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, and so on and so forth, before you begin to see, the installment of these ways of living, like put like this, a lot of people in the conscious community, this is the beauty that I see in it. They got an opportunity because they thinking differently now, right? They thinking about agriculture. They thinking about, their own businesses. They thinking about, you know self-sufficiency to a degree or whatever, right? Morals, principles, all that. And a lot of these new conscious folks is teaching these things to their children. So then now you're going to have a generation of children who's going to be at least raised with these particular principles. And
Hmm.
what they do with it is going to be quite unique because now then their children. And you know what I'm saying? Given that this continued forward trajectory and forward progress is a sustainable thing. You know what I mean? So in that is where we're going to begin to see where the fruits of all of these the labors or the seeds that has been planted is going to finally begin to bear the fruits that we need. You know what I'm saying? It takes some trees 200, 300 years to get to its full maturity. You get what I'm saying? So, understanding that we have to have that same level of patience, but making sure that each of us is doing the things that we can do in our own life. And that's as simple as being in your kids' life. You know what I'm saying? Teaching them the right
Real shit.
things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got nieces and nephews, like bringing them to the crib and showing them the way and being consistent with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an influence that's going to be passed on directly from you to whoever. You know what I'm saying? Get join the organization and figure out how to get active into the community and go do things. Be consistent in that aspect. Like like that's type of shit that we can do right now.
And that's powerful. Guys, we only got 20 seconds. I'm gonna end it on that note right there. That's powerful. Live in the end. You know, if you guys want to start it up, you guys start it up. I'll be there. I just can't be in the host seat because I'm gonna start to get busy in a second.
Yeah, do your thing.
I appreciate
Yeah,
y'all.
but
Good build, y'all.
you
So
know, peace and love.
peace
Yeah,
and love.
peace and love.